Alright guys, so let's get started with my augmented reality demo over here quickly, and why I think this is basically going to be the future of how we interact and present different objects and different scenes. And I think this is really going to revolutionize the way we do these things. So as you can see over here, I've got a 3D object that I created using photogrammetry, and I'm just using my phone. I'm in the real world, you can see, but this is not in the real world, but it appears as though it's really there because we're using augmented reality. Now, as you can see, all I needed was a simple piece of paper. It's just got a bunch of patterns on it, and it's got my name on there. And the reason why there's so many patterns is it just helps with the recognition process. It makes things a little bit easier. But as you can see, guys, I can go ahead, move around this object. I can even zoom in. As long as this is in my view, I can go ahead, zoom in, and look at different details. But again, since this is mapped to this piece of paper, if I want to look at it from different angles, all I have to do is move the piece of paper. So there we go. And I can go back, look at some more details over here that was scanned in from the photogrammetry. And again, I can move it towards the back. And we've basically got this 3D object right here in front of us. I can pick up this piece of paper and plop it somewhere else. So just put it on that side of the table, move it around, and I think this is really cool. And as you can see, it's got some buttons here as well. So we can go ahead, rotate this up. And again, just move the piece of paper if we actually want to see what's underneath there. And then again, just move my phone in to look at some more details. So I think augmented reality can be very beneficial in a variety of different fields, from medical, if you're working in the workplace and you want to present something to a potential client, or just to, if you've been working on something with a fellow employee and you want to show them the results really quickly, you just plop that piece of paper down if you've got the app, and you can basically just show them the 3D object. So I think this is really cool, guys. And I think augmented reality has a lot of potential for the future. And I'd like to see how far they can actually push this technology. And like I said, I'm standing up right now, moving around that piece of paper, and I can just look at this from any angle imaginable. Which I think is really, really cool, guys. So the app is called ENTiTi. I'm not sponsored or endorsed by this app, but I think it's a really awesome app. So if you guys want to give augmented reality a try, you can see I put some text there as well. If you want to give this a try, go and download ENTiTi, and it's really easy to use. And you guys can start playing around with augmented reality. I just think it makes the whole process of presenting content like this a lot more immersive, and it's just really cool. I mean, I've got a 3D object right here in front of me, guys, and it's mapped to this piece of paper. I can move that paper wherever I want it to be, and my object will move there as well. So really cool, guys. Go ahead and play around with some AR. Okay. Alright guys, so before we actually get started with the fun stuff with the app, just a general rule of thumb that I have to mention to you guys right now, and it's really important, but with augmented reality we basically have these, I'll call them recognition sheets, right? Because augmented reality needs a design or a piece of paper that it can reference in order to display the 3D object. Now, I'm going to save you guys a little bit of trial and error here, because this was the first design that I did. And you can see it's quite clean, and it actually did work, but I was having a lot of problems with the recognition process. It was really glitchy. If I moved like quite far out of view, it was struggling to recognize some of these very subtle patterns that you see over here. So I had to go ahead and just ramp things up quite a bit. You can see I've got a whole lot of color here. There's a lot of stuff that it can reference, and this just makes the recognition process a lot more easier and a lot more smoother when you're doing this stuff. So you want to make sure that you've just got a lot of information that the augmented reality can reference, so that your 3D object will remain visible from whatever angle you're looking at it from. So even if this is just in view, just the small corner over here, at least the app will be able to reference that, and my 3D object will stay in the scene. So just keep that in mind, guys. You don't want to go for something that's as clean as this. You're going to encounter some problems. Just make sure there's enough information on the sheet. Right, so let's head into the app now, and we'll just do a quick tutorial. I'll show you how to set things up so that you guys can start playing around with some augmented reality. Okay. Alright guys, I know I said let's jump into the app, but you guys probably don't even have the app. So the first thing you want to do is go to www.wakinapp.com, and this is the app that I'm using for my augmented reality. You'll see when you come on the page here, it gives you the option to download the creator, because this is what we're actually going to need to set up our scene. So you can download it for Mac or PC, and then you're also going to have to go on your mobile phone and download the actual app for your phone so that we can view the augmented reality. Now, I think I've said this, but I am not endorsed by this program at all. I just think it's a really awesome app that we can use to create immersive content like this. So, like I said, we're playing around with augmented reality. This is probably my most recommended app. So go ahead, download the app. You can see that it's for Google Play or Apple, and download it for Mac or PC. Once you've got that down, download it on your phone, and on your PC just install it, get everything up and running, and then we'll continue from there. Alright guys, so when you open your ENTiTi Creator app, whether you're using Mac or PC, you're actually going to be presented with a screen that tells you to log in. So you are going to have to create an account with these guys just to gain access to their program, because all of your content basically gets uploaded to the cloud so that you can download it and view it on your phone. So once you've done all of that and you've logged into the app, you're going to be presented with the screen. It's going to ask you to create a new project. So I'm going to go ahead, create new project. It's going to ask you what you want to do, virtual reality or augmented reality. So we want augmented reality. I'm going to select 3D model viewer, and we can give it a name. So I'll say, let's maybe say donut. Don't want to go for okay, I do have a photogram donut. Okay, I'm going to use my donut for this tutorial. So I'll say donut. I'll click on create, and we are actually going to enter the world of ENTiTi. Now, like I said, this is going to be a quick guide. I'm not going to go into any of this stuff in depth. I'm just going to show you how to set this up, and a lot of this stuff is also self-explanatory. You'll see there's some notifications there and stuff telling you what certain stuff does as well, but we want to be in the scene mode, and you can see here's our viewport. This thing over here that says image is basically where our paper, or that design, this design over here, this is where that design is going to be placed. And I created this as an A4 sheet of paper because that's what I printed out to use in the real world. So I created an A4 sheet of paper, and I'm going to be using that over here. And then this is our object, and basically what we're going to be doing here is we would double click on this, and once we've got all of our assets in the program, we would just select it from here. So the interface is really easy. We've got our scene over here. We can drag in 3D images, videos, sound, or if you want to work with something 2D, and we can save our project over here, obviously. And then this is publishing it to the cloud, and that's probably all you need to know for now. There's a really in-depth section here called logic, where you can set up a whole lot of really awesome stuff for AR, but we won't be covering that. The next thing we want to do is we want to go to library, and we actually want to go to upload and go and find our files on our PC. So I'm going to go and find the OBJ file for my donut and the JPEG file for the textures that are mapped to my donut as well. So if you want an object to be in here with textures, you would have had to have an object that was UV mapped with all the textures applied to it. Otherwise, you're just going to have a standard blank material. So I'm going to go ahead, I confirm that I have the right to use the content. I'll go agree, and then I'm just going to go ahead and find my donut and those materials. So let's see, go to my PC. Where are we? Okay, why is it's not showing my I'm looking for one of my hard drives. So actually let me just get through this and just go and find my donut. But I've already told you guys what you need to do. From here, it's your library file browser. You import your objects and your textures, normal maps, all into the library so that we can actually import it into our scene. So I'm just going to skip a little bit forward here and go and find my objects quickly. Alright guys, so I actually couldn't import my donut because the file size was a little bit too large. It looks like you're limited to only uploading files that are not larger than 50 megabytes. But I do have another object over here that I created using photogrammetry. So you can see I imported the OBJ and my JPEG with all the UV mapped information. So that's in the library. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead back to scene. Okay, so to start editing the scene, let's change the image first. So I'm going to double click on this image. It'll bring this up. Now it's asking for my image target library. Now you can see I've already got mine in here, so you'll just go ahead and upload yours. So I'm selecting this image and I'm going to click on this arrow to assign it to my project, and then I'll click on preview selected in scene, and you can see there's my image there on the ground. So whenever I place my printed image like this on a surface, that's going to be the thing it recognizes so that my 3D object shows up. So this teapot is basically just a placeholder. I'm going to double click on that, and now you can see in the asset browser I have my woman statue OBJ. I'll click confirm, and you can see it's really large. So we're going to rescale this. You can see over here we can move the position, rotate, and then scale. So I'll click on that and just drag left. I'm going to left click and just drag on this center slide over here to scale it uniformly. Just zoom in a bit, and let's rotate this, rotate it up, and I want it to be, oops, I want it to be facing this way. So let me just rotate that up. There we go. And I'm just going to move that up as well. Now, however large your object is in this view is basically how large this object is going to appear as soon as it's recognized on this piece of paper. So I try to not make this object too large, just simply because I literally move in with my phone in the real world just to see more details on this object while still having my paper visible. Because if I make this too large, you'll see that you're going to have to move back quite far in order to see your object. So just try to keep the scale relative to, you know, just use this as your bounding box. Try to not make it too large. So I'm just going to move this up a little bit as well. Right, so you can see if you don't have any textures, this is basically the material you're going to have, right? So you can see I'm selecting object. Here on the right we have model, and then you can select materials. Now as soon as I click on that, your materials is this default matte white. I'm going to select that, and then if we go in here we can change the color, but we want to change the main texture. So I'll click on that. In the asset browser I'm going for that JPEG with the UV mapped information. Click confirm, and you can see it applies it to my object. Now this is really shiny. To reduce the speck or the shine that you see over here, we just adjust this roughness slider. So I want to bring that more to the right, but I do want some of these specular highlights. And then if you have a normal map, you can import that as well, or if you want to make it transparent. But I'm going to click on save, and there we go. I've got my photogrammetry object in here with the textures applied, and I've got that ground plane that it's going to reference. And if you want to, you guys can import some texture as well. So you would literally just drag and drop this into the scene. So let's actually do that. And again, we have some navigation sliders over here, so I can push that back just like I showed you in the actual demo. This is what I did, and then I just went here, changed the text and its size, but actually I'm not going to include text for this model. And that's about it, guys. We've set all of this up. You can actually move these buttons around. If you want to do that, you can rotate that as well. But this is the simple setup for creating augmented reality. And then from here we'll go to publish. You can choose if you want it to be public or private. Actually, I'm going to click on close. I'm going to make sure that I actually where is this? No, this is named. Never mind, we've already named our scene. So we'll just go to publish, and I'm going to publish mine public. And then from here I'll show you how to actually get to your object within the app. So you can see that it's now published as a public project. So let's switch over to my phone now with the actual app, and we'll search for this object. So we named it, if I go to, if I click on save quickly, our project, let's see, what was our project named? Oh yeah, at the time I called it donut, so I'm gonna have to search for donut, even though this is not a donut. So I'll probably have to fix that, but I'm gonna be searching for donut to try and find this object within the phone. So let's just see. I think that's it. Nothing else we need to change here. Oh, there we go. This is actually what I was looking for. Actually, just to be safe, because we can publish this again and it'll just overwrite those settings. I'm going to change the name here, so I'll say woman statue. Now I'm not sure which name it references. I don't know if it references the actual project name or the name that you give it over here, but I'm going to assume that it's this name, woman statue underscore T, and then I'll click save. Just save this, and then I'll go to publish and click publish. Now it's just going to overwrite those last settings. So I think now we're either going to search for donut or woman statue, but I think this is the name you search for. So I'm going to search on my phone for woman statue T. Right, so let's head over to the phone now. Alright guys, so just one thing to mention, that thing that we just did previously where we were reaching, that's not relevant. Whatever we actually named our product, we search for in the app itself. So you can see once you open the app, this is what you're presented with. So I'm going to click on search, and I named my project Donut at the time because that's what I was going to be working with, but we're working with that statue of the lady. So I'm going to search for Donut. You'll see it goes and finds my object immediately, and I'm going to click on that play icon. Now yours won't immediately go to the following screen. You'll see there's a countdown timer, but I wanted to edit that out because it takes a little bit of time to import that, because it's importing the object and the textures in the cloud. So you'll just wait for that timer to finish, and then it'll automatically come to the screen where it says aim at this image. So at this point, you've either got your design on your PC screen right now that you're going to reference, or you've printed it out like myself. So I've printed out this piece of paper. So I'm just going to take my screen over here and okay, so I'm going to reference, and I'm going to try and get this into the shot as much as possible. It recognizes my paper immediately. And it's loading in the object. And there we go, guys. I've got my statue of my lady right here in front of me. And now if I want to rotate it, again, like I showed you in the demo, I simply just rotate this piece of paper, and we can zoom in and look at all of these details on our model. So that's how you create these augmented reality experiences, guys. It's really simple, easy to do, and right now I'm holding the statue right in front of me. Okay, guys, and it was that simple. Well, I hope you guys have learned something useful from this tutorial, so you know how to go ahead and set up your own augmented reality experiences. And as always, guys, thank you for watching my tutorials, and stay tuned for some more. Alright, goodbye.